Hello everyone, and welcome to the ETF2L Season 30 Week 6 matchup between Elektro versus Velocity eSports. Can Velocity eSports get some more points this season? Well, only time will tell. And who will tell you? It will be GrumpyKoi, and Wiethoofd will be able to transmit all of that to you. So how are you doing, GrumpyKoi?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Beta?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm all ready for this kind of battle of the bottom, almost. At least Velocity has struggled quite a bit this season, but yeah, I'm sure they can manage.
Is it like battle for the bottom bunk sort of thing going on here? Like whoever wins gets the bottom bunk, or whoever loses gets the bottom bunk, though?
Well, you want the top one, right? No,
yeah,
wait. Yeah. Actually, for some reason everyone wants the top one, but the bottom one is just better.
Yeah.
It's colder down there. Like, seriously, it's colder down there.
And if you need to pee during the night, it's not as awkward, because usually, like, you have to have that awkward to-in and throw-in where you're, like, trying to get out of bed, trying to get some decent clothes. Yeah, no, bottom bunk's better, so it's the battle for the bottom bunk.
Indeed, and Elektro
ETF2L Season 30.
Yeah, and Elektro, they're not exactly second to worst. Wiethoofd, can you give us the Velocity roster, and so we can get our stats going? You know, that would be pretty sweet. Because we have all these wonderful reports here. There we go, Velocity eSports. We have Honey Badger on Medic, News on Demo Man, I think, Spot on Pocket, joined somewhat middle of the season, plays a lot of Pyro. The average kills 5. I think it's just that he plays a lot of Pyro, and this only counts as soldier kills. And then Crayon and Ixie on Scout, and then Raph on Roamer. So, like, Ixie has had a pretty decent season, but other than that, it's been pretty spotty, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's not like Velocity Esports. Obviously, they won the Prem qualifiers and managed to get the last spot for Prem, but it's been a very rocky season. Obviously, with losing Olga, I feel like it's actually quite detrimental to Velocity, because Olga and Raph have such synergy together. It's quite nice to watch when they actually get going. But someone experienced like Spud on your team's not necessarily a bad thing. But the reason we said maybe News is he's on holiday apparently. So any idea who their pocket's actually going to not their pocket, their demo? Who is that actually going to be?
No idea. So
we're in this for the surprise.
Yeah, we're just gonna do it on to the next one if you want to take the roster of Elektro.
Yeah, so the roster of Elektro is Demos on Medic. We've got Eames on that Demo Man slot. Eskimo as Pocket. We've got Nevo on Scout. We've got Azunas on Roma, and Scruff on I believe he plays Flank Scout. No, he plays Pocket and Nevo plays Flank Scout. That's how I remember things to be. But yeah, mixed team. Azunas, Scruff, and Nevo have been on the roster before. Eames, Eskimo, and Demos have been on and off during our Elektras. Like, Eames was playing with them last season, but they've obviously had a bit of roster changes here and there. But Eskimo, I don't consider a bad pocket at all. I feel like he plays the role really solidly. And Eames is, you know, he can play demo really well. He's one of those more relaxed demos compared to the other demos in the season. Like we said last cast we did, which was yesterday, there's so many like crazy demos out there that even like I would consider Eames a good demo. But there's a lot of demos just around and about this season that you have to be a little bit pickier than you usually are.
Yeah, indeed. If nothing else, he's amazing at hitting giant air shots. And here's a quick look at the standings just to kind of see where we're at. See the Bus Crew and Ascent kind of lingering above Velocity eSports, down on 3 points, and then we have Elektro on 10. And the Velocity eSports, I guess the most important stat for them is that they actually won a map. They took a map off of Ascent, so they've shown that they are capable of competing. So, that's good. But is there any big player v player matchup you would like to see? We have like the whole team here coming up, but you know, is there any specific matchup you'd like to see? Maybe not the demo man, because we don't know if Nu's going to be here. But
I think Azunas and Raph would be a good matchup, the roamers, because Azunas really does try and make as much impact as possible in whatever game he plays. Even if sometimes it doesn't pull off, I always see him commit very heavily. And Raph's decision making, especially in some games, like I've seen him play Snake Water, where he gets behind and he can just be such a nuisance as a roamer that it's. I think they'll be the people to watch during this game. Will be Azunas and Raph, just seeing how they can create plays and create opportunities for their team.
Yeah, and you can kind of see that. Pretty interestingly enough, that Raph has a little bit more heals, and then he gets more damage and fewer deaths, but he actually gets fewer kills than Azuna. So it seems like Azuna is more of like a sniper, where he just like zooms in there and gets a key pick, and then he probably dies for it. But you know, he's better at getting the final kill.
Yeah, I feel Azunas is very much the classic sack roamer we're used to in TF2. He very much. You'll find that if there's anyone on or Elektro that they're going to send through or do anything or create, you know, any sort of chaos or mayhem, it's always Azunas that's the first one through the choke. So I'd say that it's kind of that also helps him, because he's always kind of just slamming on the medic or trying to get that pick to create an advantage for a team or worth his sack. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. And a matchup I'm really curious about, because Ixie he's a bit inconsistent, I'd say, but overall I think he's been very, very good. Like he's one of those up-and-coming scouts that I think at some point he's going to be like a really good scout in Prem, but it's just going to take a little while. But he's going to be matching up against Scruff, and you can see he has a lot fewer kills per map, and he gets significantly less heals as well, so actually a little bit the same as before, except the teams have been reversed from the Roma situation. It's pretty interesting. The KD ratio actually on Scruff is really good. It's very impressive stuff from him.
Yeah, Scruff has been very quite well, actually. Even this season, even last season, and at Copenhagen Games, he's been quite a strong scout. Like he's not, you know, even though he hasn't had, you know, accolades like some other scouts on the season, he's always really put in the work and put in the graph. And I feel like that will that may translate into this game. Like I feel like it's going to be a lot easier for our Elektro, because they do have a much better standing in the table, and just in general, they're a much more, you know, centered team, and they're kind of more established in Prem versus Velocity eSports.
Yeah, they're also a more kind of composed team in a lot of ways. I feel like they play quite a lot like Seven. Like they're pretty calculated. They will just take it slow. They'll slow down the game and then just get those nice picks and then force a situation that really benefits them. So like that can be very difficult for a team with the inferior DM to really deal with. So speaking of DM, there's also another scout in here, and this one I was thinking, like, at least before pulling this up, that Naval was going to have like significantly better stats, because Naval has kind of impressed me a lot more than Crayon over the time, and yeah, it looks like he is actually did quite a lot better, especially considering that he gets less heals. But you know, Crayon has that X factor going on for him. Like he will go sniper and spy and do some crazy plays. I think he has like some Highlander background, I want to say. I don't even know if that's true, but
Crayon does, yeah.
Yeah. So like he kind of does some crazy stuff, and like he's the kind of guy to just like drop down from somewhere and like point blank headshot a medic or whatever. Like he does those really flashy plays every once in a while. So you don't want to count him out for sure.
One of the problems with the actual, setup with Nevo and Crayon versus Ixie and Scruff is Nevo is the flank scout for Elektro, and Crayon is the pocket scout for Velocity eSports, and vice versa with the other matchup. So you mentioned the heals. There probably will be a lot more heals going to Crayon than Nevo, just because they do play, a different role within the scout format.
Yeah, indeed. And well, you mentioned heals, so we'll just jump straight on into the medic heads up. We have confusingly enough a guy named Demos on Medic. It was a lot easier when he was on demo, but it's been pretty interesting to see how well he's been doing on Medic, because like some people are pretty poor at just picking up Medic, and like they try to do many fancy things, or they just don't know how to use the Ubers properly. Like they just pop for nothing in situations where you really shouldn't. But Demos has seemed really solid. Like you can't tell that he's not a Medic main or anything. So like you can see, he only has 7 deaths per map. That's actually really low. So that kind of supports my earlier theory that they're kind of a slower team, and that will often result in fewer medic deaths. But just overall, like I think Demos is another pretty up and coming player. Like he's very, very solid, and he's been very good on medic.
Well, one thing, especially just stating the whole, switching to medic thing is I feel like medic is one of those, the skills aren't as transferable as, going from like demo to pocket, or, pocket to scout. Those are kind of roles that all kind of fit within the DM. There is a lot of brain to them, but, you're shooting people. That's pretty much the main all in all. Whilst in medic, it's all about where you stand, how you position yourself, what heals you're giving out, where you're placing them. It's a lot more thought, and going through the correct processes and making sure that when your team is when your shot caller is going, let's go through choke, everyone's ready. You have to set everyone up and get everyone going, and it can come sometimes be daunting for people who are used to just shooting the other color that they are. So I find it really impressive. Like you said, the demos has kind of adjusted, and with third best KDA of the season so far on medic, that's pretty impressive considering it's not a team in the top 3 or the currently in playoffs, well in the playoff bracket. So he has done really, really well for himself.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you can absolutely not tell that there should be any issue with him playing the medic class. He's been very, very strong. And speaking of strong, we have Spud versus Eskimo. I kind of suspect that Spud's stats are going to be all weird looking because of the the whole pyro thing. And you can see the 18 to 5 kills is definitely not very accurate. Also, just the fact that he played against 7 in one of the few matches that he played, so he has like a low amount of matches, and he has very little soldier time compared to other classes. So the stats look a little bit weird, but like KD and stuff like that, and heals received is definitely something you can read something into, and you can see his damage per minute is actually really, really high, and his heals received per minute is really high. So it's like a tank and a damage sponge, and he does a lot of damage in return.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But Eskimo kind of reminds me of that Josh style of play. He does really like to take heals. I've seen him play shotgun as well. He's not the roaming style of soldier that we tend to see in 6v6. Like if you think of 7, like most of the time it's just tanking Cadus 24/7, and that's about it when it comes to their heal style. But with Eskimo, he has got that kind of Josh vibe to him, so to speak, where he very much likes to stay with the combo most of the time, take up those heals, and let a lot of the playmaking go to Azunas. So I wonder how it's going to be with Spud, obviously just constantly taking Pyro, and how that's going to kind of affect, and how Eskimo and the rest of Elektro are going to adapt to that specific play, because that can set a lot of teams struggling.
Yeah, what are the maps? It's Snake Water, and what's the other one? Which one?
Prolands.
Oh, Prolands. Okay, so Badlands. Okay, yeah, those are not really very good Pyro maps. Like if you can get Pyro onto Spire, it's pretty strong. but in general, Pyro is not all that great. Even on middle, it's probably like the best spot. Like middle and last are decent-ish. Sometimes, maybe. Like at least last is very good. We'll definitely see some Pyros on last. Badlands is very much known for the whole "you can't push me on last" thing. But yeah, like I think we'll mostly see Soldier just because you can jump Spire and stuff, and jump in from like Valley and House, and it's just very, very strong to have that kind of initiation. on Soldier. So yeah, we have gotten the STV. That's cool. So I don't know, Grumpy. Let's do some predictions here. What do you expect to see in this match?
I think Elektro are going to take it, even though they've had not the strongest season. I just feel like they are the more composed team, and I feel like even though Velocity have got their kind of wild card with Spud, I feel like Azunas will be able to create the plays, and I feel like Eskimo will be able to keep a very cool head with his team. If I remember correctly, he's main calling for them at the moment, or it's either him or Eames are taking charge of things. So it will be down to kind of the organization between the two teams, and if News isn't playing, News seems to be the Velocity sort of brains, pardon the stereotype that we have for News, but he very much is the commanding force for that team. So having him away, if it's confirmed that he's not playing this game, I don't know how that's going to affect Velocity's chances. What about yourself, Peter?
I definitely agree that we're going to see Elektro win. And I'm actually going to go even further and say it's going to be not even close. It's going to be like a 5-0, 6-1 or something like that. Like, I think it's going to be pretty emphatic that Elektro wins. So that's my, I don't know, I don't want to call it a bold prediction, but this Velocity, they've just been looking so unconvincing this season. And Elektro has actually been pretty decent, so I have this little hunch, especially with we have Botnos in the server, so that probably answers something. I mean, Botnos could play things.
I actually think Botnos might be playing Pocket, and they might put Spud on Demo Man.
That would make sense. Yes.
That would actually be like the big brain play, because Spud is so experienced on Demo. He is an old school demo main. Well, he's not really a demo main anymore, but he was known for his demo back in the day. So seeing him come out on demo would be pretty interesting, to be honest. Like, we can't really tell because all but Spud are playing. Oh, Spud and Crayon are playing Soldier on Velocity during this pre-game, so anything can happen. But that would be really interesting, don't you think, Peter?
Yeah, I definitely think Spud is an upgrade over News in terms of DM, but the calling might be missing, and that could definitely hurt them, where they're used to him making specific call in specific situations, then all of a sudden, like, that's not happening, so everything can just fall apart. So it doesn't even matter if you have like a technically superior demo, like, just because your own guy is missing. And I think we've all tried this, where like a really important person in the team is missing, and then you get in like a supposed upgrade and everything is just not working. It's like everyone else is worse, even though the new guy is doing really well. So it's definitely a very dangerous situation that does not help, but you never know. Maybe I'm pretty sure Spud can call pretty well.
He's got the experience to command a team. I feel like if Spud suggests something or does a call, I feel like the rest of Velocity are going to respect that, just because of the kind of legacy he has. It's like when we had the Germans last season and Shocky was on the team. You could tell that he was giving a good impact to that team just with his pure experience of playing 6v6. Yeah. So maybe Spud can spice things up. We'll probably know within the first 5 minutes of the game. I think the first 5 minutes of this game will dictate whether or not it's going to be close or it's just going to be pure annihilations for Velocity as well.
And we also can't forget about the Botnos factor. Like, he at least had, like, I can't remember if it was like season 21 or 20 or what it was, where he just like murked for everyone on all different classes, and he just destroyed every single game that he murked. So he's probably just going to mark a guard in everything and be a hero. You never know. And at least on Snakewater, soldiers can have a very big impact. It is overall a scout map, but at least on the middle, the soldiers can just completely carry that for their team if they can just get behind or just do a lot of damage and not die immediately. So, like, there's definitely some opportunities here. I'm a little bit more excited than I was initially. Just
things have changed. But I'm thinking that we may have a bit of a surprise. Like, we've made these predictions that Elektro are gonna take this map, but For example, Raph loves... I have a strange inkling that Raph loves this map, because whenever I've seen him play Snakewater, he's been super impactful. So you never know. Like, if Azunas gets shut down off his initial, sack in at the start of the first mid, and Raph gets some space to play with, I could see Velocity at least taking an early round at the start of this game, and then the organisation of Elektro coming through and maybe just taking over from there. But only time will tell, really, Peter.
Yeah, I think it's also worth noting that Snakewater is one of the better maps for doing like set plays. So like you can kind of prepare a play, and then because the medic positioning on this map is pretty predictable, so if you like spam specific areas or jump in a guy, the medic will go to a pretty specific spot, and then you can like pre-plan who you're going to send in and who's going to be the distraction, right? So you can like plan it to a really high degree. And if I know news, he probably did that, and they probably did a map talk, and they have like some shenanigans planned for Snakewater specifically for like a middle to second push or something. So I'm like just gonna hope that is the case, that they've really studied up and just done their homework, prepared. It's basically cheating, right, when you do this. But yeah, how many rounds do you think Velocity will be able to take here?
1 or 2 at the start, and then I feel like they might crumble. That's my honest opinion. I feel like they may get some surprises, because this is not a Velocity that anyone's played against because of the addition of Buttnose and Spud on demo. And it may be something good, or it will either be 2 rounds to them, or Elektro just not able to adapt quickly, right, or it will just be an absolute slaughterfest for Velocity, and or Elektro just take it 5-0 straight away. I think it'll be one of the two.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the 5-0-5. I'm just gonna stick with it, even though things have changed. But we are live, so now is the big question going to be answered. Can Velocity win 2 maps in a season? They've already won 1 map against Ascent, but they want 2 maps win here. So we will see how that works out for them. They're up against Elektro, who has been looking very good so far this season, so they have their hands full. Take it away on this middle, Grumpy.
Well, Spud's quite far forward and dealt a lot of damage onto Eames. Raph goes in, and actually Eames gets picked up in the end. Spud goes down to Azunas though, and a lot of players are kind of just scrapping right now, and it's not looking too great for Velocity player-wise. They've got 2 scouts, V-Scout, and Ixie's just going over the top. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Velocity, the 2 scouts there, like that was just 2 scouts and a medic versus 2 scouts and a medic. And like, I don't even know what Demos did not just suicide there. Like, there's no way he was ever getting out. So yeah, the scouts actually coming through there. I'd say that Scruff and Nero is definitely the stronger scout pair, but so far I have been proven wrong. And looks like you are the prophet so far, at least. But they still have a last push to complete before you can take that claim. Looks like they're gonna go in through the right side.
Yeah, they're going to take this full Uber ad and right onto Crayon and then Spud. Spud gets airboxed though, and he ends up just dealing a lot of damage to Nevo, who's eating the sandwich onto point. They're trying to, get time onto the point, and they've got quite a decent amount of time, but Buttnose comes in over the top onto Eames, onto Eskimo on top of there. Buttnose takes a huge amount of damage, but
Ixie's winning this. Medic on the point.
They get it.
There you go. Yeah, really good push. They just take a round immediately. You are a smart person, GrumpyKoi. You perfectly called that. And like, to be fair, there was pretty much just a roll on middle, right? Like it's a pretty standard situation where you can like steal around from a superior team. So that could be it. But you have to also say that like the scouts just went huge for Velocity, and they won that fight on middle and chased down the medic, and they just executed the last push perfectly. And Velocity, they've had some trouble with their last pushes, so great job by them, 1-0.
Yeah, they did really well, and Azunas goes over the point, followed by Eskimo, and they're trying this double soldier sack to get something done. Eskimo's trapped in that lower area, but that just gives space for Elektro to just barrel over the point, and Velocity have decided to go out. Crayon actually just trying to lead his medic out. There's a lot of chasing coming from Eames and other players. They're already in lobby. They're already in last. They've shown Velocity that we can do that too. We can barrel through and actually get a decent advantage, but with Honey surviving, it's not going to be too hard for them to hold this last if they're able to. They just need to get some decent positioning and get their off classes off where they need it.
Yeah, this is a pretty standard situation. Like, this is not really comparable to what we saw before. You know, we have Ubers on both teams. So it's just a matter of trying to, you know, some teams like to just push off of it and get Ubers out of the way, but I have a feeling that Elektro are going to try and send in a suicider somehow. There's a soldier that's given away a position. We actually have... is it a spy that's actually checking, or... Yeah, it was just checking, but here comes the suicider. As soon as in, he misses the first rocket. What a surf there from Honey. Yeah. Really nice surf.
One thing that I've just got to say is Spud really well actually was on that right side, just denying anyone else going in, because Azuna's created such a huge distraction that if Spud wasn't there denying that, I feel like our Elektro could have collapsed onto them. But Ixie actually gets a headshot onto Eames, so that's a demo down. So they're going to be able to push it out.
Yeah, Soldier actually goes in for the suicide. And another nice surf here from Demos, just completely puts himself between himself and a wall. Rafax just gets a kill onto the scout trying to deny him. So this push is kind of still happening just because they have so much space. And obviously there's no Demo Man to sticky them off. But the snipers on both sides, so both medics could potentially drop. Scout will actually go down here to another sniper here. That was a sniper duel. And the Uber comes out from Honey and they can't really get anything. He tries to be a hero, but yeah, that didn't work out at all.
Yeah, this is not good, because now they've got a full Uber disad for their last hold, and Velocity really need to get their off classes up as soon as possible. They're gonna get their respawns, but they just need like a Het Putus above point or something like that, something to slow things down. And hopefully that's what we're going to see out of Ixie. Though he's going to stay on the sniper, which is a pretty bad decision, as the rest of our Elektro come through on that right side. They've got so much time on the point. Budnose goes in for a nice defend, but it's not enough, and that's a round for our Elektro. I'm not quite the prophet, but I was close. First round to Velocity, second round to our Elektro, and I feel like unless Velocity can, you know, change things up and get another decent mid, things are going to start to crumble for them.
I mean, so far it's just been whoever won middle just got it pretty easily. I mean, it took a pretty poor push out there where spawners just came in for more Elektro, but, you know, so far whoever has gotten middle has gotten the last point as well, so yeah, really high conversion rate so far.
Yeah, and Azunas and Eskimo going for that double bomb again. Eskimo actually just gets denied really nicely, but Spud goes down. That's a demo down on mid. That's quite bad, but they have lost both their soldiers, so if Ralph can get some heals, which he does, they may be able to spam out our Elektro, and that's exactly what they do. Good decision from our Elektro not to stay in and fight that, because they just didn't. They shouldn't really risk the life of Demos just to win that mid, because they're going to keep that Uber. Graf goes very far forward on the left hand side of Saw, but things are kind of fizzling out into a stalemate right now from the looks of it, Peter.
Yeah, they went in pretty early on trying to get that nice little medic pick or the force, right? Which makes a lot of sense because the spawners had not come in yet, so it's pretty difficult for Elektro to hold all the chokes, but they played together as a team and did a really good job of actually just playing aggressive in the chokes and making sure that nobody could walk through them. And now that they have the spawners, they have been able to deny everything. And as soon as going to try and go for the counter sack, but I mean, he does die, but there's actually just 2 players down from each team now, and it's actually really dangerous. And Demos pops it, he goes down to 20 HP, and he is not able to catch up to Honey at all with his Demo Man. So just another really nice situation where one team is able to get a massive advantage, but this time around it's Velocity. Spot's going to jump in very aggressively. They caught the Eames. He's kind of in no man's land, but he will be able to walk out, it seems. He survives that, but crucially they have not been able to force Honey either. So far whoever gets middle is just still on that roll.
Well, one thing that's really nice is Velocity seems so much more organised than before. Especially with that nice little rotation after that exchange. They went down, you know, lower grass, and they're going to take this Uber in with Crayon leading. Spud tried to join, but I didn't really see where he came in, or I think he's going to come in a little... Oh no, he is in, and he's sticking off the left-hand side. He picks up the sentry gun and Eskimo. They just need to prolong this fight and get as much time on the point as possible. Azunas onto Spud. Spud goes down. Honey doing a lot of work, and the second round going to... Velocity there, Peter. Wow, that was actually really well played by them.
Yeah, Spot doing some real work there, just getting a lot of kills and picks and taking down the sentry gun, just really making that Uber count. So great job by him, just definitely living up to whatever sparse hype we were able to give him. So that's good. But yeah, I still want to just point out that as soon as you make it across middle, nobody has been pushed back yet. It's so effective when you win this middle, so it's crucial.
Yeah, and Azunas looked like he wanted to go in. He's a little delayed. Raf goes over onto Demos. Demos takes a lot. It ends up going down to Spud, so that's a med down. They just need to protect Honey as Scruff, Nevo pushing across the point. Eames wants to get in on this and just deal a lot of damage. Scruff going down to Crayon though, and they're going to back out of this lower area, which is probably the best thing they can do right now. They haven't got the numbers advantage in regards to positioning. Eames is super low in kitchen though. Azunas decides to go in and see if he can create something, but Crayon spots him out. He's still trying to create something because the rest of Velocity are wrapping around the right hand side. Eskimo gets out, but I think this is it for Azunas unless he can get to that pack, which he tries to do, but Buttnose picks him out. And that nice, really good beater from Velocity.
Played.
Like,
yeah, very
backing
good
out.
play. Yeah, very patient. They realized it was 4 against 5 or maybe 4 against 4. I can't quite remember, but it was definitely like the medic advantage going on there, and that means you have an assault class disadvantage, right? So now they're going to come in here. Actually, we didn't see Honey getting forced. They do get a lot of picks, including the demo man here as they move in. So this Uber was actually almost worth it. They might be able to just keep on moving. It's a little bit dangerous with the spawners coming in, but they have committed now.
They get Demos.
Oh, they get the medic. That's what they wanted. So now they can just back off again. It's just really calculated right now. It's kind of what I expected to see more Elektro, but it's Velocity doing it.
Yeah, Velocity are extremely organized right now. I'm actually really impressed to see this. I thought, especially with the Spud on demo and Buttnose on Pocket, that switch of things, that there would be a lot of discord. But they seem to be holding themselves really well. I just can't get over that fall back and then push back in when you've got your overheals and just crush players. That was just really well played by them.
Yeah, they're actually being really patient right now, just overall. And then, like, they did move in pretty aggressively and get the medic, right? So that you can't call it patient, but that was just a really good play. And now they're going to just bring the soldier, a demo man and a scout. They're trying to put time on the point, but they can't clear the sticky, so the scout goes down. That's going to be difficult to put time onto the point. And we can see them just basically having backed out already. It's very difficult for them to actually have a one-man advantage.
2K though.
Oh yeah, that's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, no, and they managed to pick up Eames. That's a demo down as well, and Spud wants to take that. Raf in a good position.
Oh, Demos!
Ooh, again, they have to be careful now. If they can just keep Honey alive, they can just reset, get ready, and go back out.
Yeah, Demos has been really struggling to stay alive in these pushes. It seems like he always just goes down, like just barely, and then Velocity are able to back off and then come back in with the full Uber advantage. So really tough there. The good news is that Demos does spawn in time for him to give like a good fat buff to everyone, so you can see everyone's pretty much just fully buffed right now. That's a really good situation to be in, but they're going to come in from bottom now. Yeah,
they're going to come in from bottom. Spud straight away onto that sentry gun, trying to get it down. It's still not down, but this is pretty bad. So Spud goes down to Scruff. Sentry gun. Oh my god, that's putting in works. Eskimo battling on Crayon. Crayon ends up going down to Nevo, and that's going to be a fail push, but Honey escaping. Can he keep himself alive? Azunas just goes straight on him.
Oh, this is not likely.
Nice sidestep from Honey though. That was close. Spud was there to try and save him, but sadly Azunas manages to pick his man. Congratulations to him, and everything's now on the side of Elektro, but Raf in a position he hasn't been spotted. He tries to go on to Azunas, takes a lot of damage for his trouble. And if Scruff goes back, Raf ends up going down to Nevo, and not good, really not good beater.
Yeah, this is they might be the first middle retake we've seen so far. I mean, we're about halfway done with the map before it actually happened for the first time, so that's something. But yeah, it's still a massive advantage. Actually, Eames goes down. That's going to make this push a lot more difficult. That's a really key pick there coming out from Spud. Really, just a standard sticky trap onto the pillar. I don't know if he saw anything or it was just a blind dead. I didn't see him being in a good angle to do it, but yeah, that will slow things down significantly, and it looks like they're not even going to push on it, even though they have an Uber advantage. So that's how significant that sticky trap was from Spud. Coming in absolutely huge, and Honey's going to be able to just build his Uber.
Yeah, no, Spud's has been really impactful so far for this game for Velocity, and I feel like he's doing a good denial of the enemy team, especially with just area denial, which some demos nowadays they do like just piping people like crazy, and they can get away with it, but it's just impressive seeing that old school style of demo, honestly. Azuna's trying to go in for the sack, he ends up going down to Ixie, and that's a little player advantage. Raph looking like he wants to see if he can create any space for himself, but they've called out the stickies that are very neatly placed in a saw. But yeah, it's not the worst, but not the best situation for either team right now.
Yeah, it's a pretty difficult map. Like this whole situation is pretty difficult for the team holding second to do a good counter sack. Like you're usually very far away from the enemy, so by the time their roamer bombs into you and you go like, oh, okay, he died, I should go for the counter sack, then you like have to do 3 jumps and then you're ready to do it, and it's just kind of slow. So yeah, we don't see a counter sack here, and it looks like Navo is actually going to go sniper. I think the door was held open by Asunas, and then Navo just jumped in there and switched to sniper, and this is a pretty good spot for sniper overall, I'd say, just because you can kind of stand in the window and snipe, and that means that the medic has to stand like right next to the fence where Honey is standing right now, and then you can have someone jump him and he is right next to a wall. So yeah, you can definitely put the medic in a really awkward position, in my opinion, so that's pretty good.
And Nevos just seems to really want to get this Raph pick right now. Just, see if he can get any advantage. He's trying to get onto Spud as well, but everyone's defending themselves really nicely and just keeping themselves alive. And it's very slow. Eskimo goes down. Azunas is super low as well, so they may lose him, but no, the arrow comes out from Demos and picks him up. So they have got a player down. This might be a good opportunity for Raph to go in, and that's exactly what he does, but he's super low and ends up going down.
He gets the force.
Oh, he gets the force. Nice.
Yeah. There's nothing unfortunate about that. It's just a matter of do you wait for spawners or not, like Raph did just go down. But it looks like, nah, they're ready to go in. There's a sticky trap above the door. I think there's one on the balcony. No, there's not. So there's only one above the door, and like in Saw there was one, but they've cleared that one. So they're taking their time, which is also giving Raph the opportunity to come back. And they're just going to go in through kitchen, it looks like. There's actually 2 players in kitchen. There's a scout and a soldier. The scout's still just hiding. And he was just waiting for the medic, but he just gets taken down by an entire team. Eventually, Honey does pop it. I think he did it to save his demo man or something, because he wasn't weak himself. But that pop didn't do a whole lot, to be honest. So maybe a bit of a mess up there, but they're actually just going to push onto second, even though they have barely any...
Oh, Nevo. Whoa, he takes down Spud, and that's just going to take all of the pace out of that push. And it just means
did he drop from window, or what happened?
Yeah, he just did some Ezio level Assassin's Creed stuff there, where he just dropped down and body shot Spud, and that just took all the pace out of the game. And now Eames tries to go in, but they managed to get the force. Butno's doing a lot of work there in kitchen, and now the rest of Velocity need to back out, but it's looking very confident for maybe some players getting caught out. No, Velocity want to go back in. Like Spud's looking quite confident to go back in with the rest of his team as Honey goes over the top, over balcony, and they want to fight this mid. And this is exactly what they're going to do. They're taking a lot of damage, not getting any picks. Nevo's in kitchen with the Zunas though. Zunas manages to get out. Nevo's still trapped, but may be able to get into a good angle. No, he's going to back out, and it's going to be an awkward spitting match right now as both teams are just spamming across points. Spud, super aggressive, pushing people out into Saw. Ends up going down to Eskimo though, so that's quite a crucial pick again for Elektro, and they'll be able to get some pace. They may concede this mid, but I think they'll take it right back.
It's onto the medic and gets him, and oh my god, Honey drops because Nemo came in from the other side. Oh no, that is tragic. Demos is not going to get forced either. It's just Ixie. I don't even think he's going to try to be a hero, but a big drop there from Honey. Going to completely change the tide. And now we just see Velocity getting barreled down upon Ixie. He almost takes down the demo actually. But Eames hits a nice pipe on the 1 HP. That's all you need really. You know, there's only dead and alive, and he's alive. So they're just getting ready to go in on to last here and to see if they can equalize this match.
Yeah, only a level 1 sentry for Krayon right now. I think he's going to get that just into level 2. No, he's not. So that's going to probably get spammed out. They've got so much time at the point for Elektro. Ixie and Buttnose go straight onto that point. Eames gets knocked around. Eskimo and Eames are the only ones left in. Demos is out, and that's a relatively well played defense from Velocity there.
Yeah, they're relatively all alive, and relatively 0 of them died. So yes, that was very good.
Are you saying I'm saying relatively too much? I feel like that was a hint there.
I thought they were like, that was a really good hole. It was basically a perfect hole. I don't think they lost anyone. They lost like a sentry gun. So yeah, they kited the Uber really well. Eskimo's in behind him. There's actually still a scout in behind him and a soldier as well, threatening with the backup. That's going to send everyone back. So actually a really nice move coming out here. Honey's just going to run into the scout along with his own. There we go. Spud will get the cleanup kill. So they will be able to push back into middle, but they've been delayed quite a bit here.
Yeah, and Velocity are already pushing forward onto this mid. Eskimo staying a little bit behind to get some spam, but it's not really going to be able to do too much. Ubers are equal, so it's all about the plays that are going to be made, and Raf's trying to create one right now. He goes on to Demos, ends up missing him, and ends up going down to Scruff. So not the greatest, but Azunas with the opposite side trying to sack ends up getting picked up by Buttnose, so both sacks are a failure, and Raf will be back a little bit earlier than Azunas there.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of pressure going on. Both teams are down 1, so that means that there's a little bit less coverage on the flanks, which means there's a lot of opportunities for people to overextend and get punished and make their way behind and that kind of stuff, or at least threaten to do it. So it's always a bit nerve-wracking whenever these kind of fights are happening, when both teams are down a player, just because it's less possible to just keep track of everything, so to speak. But both teams survive it just fine. We don't even see a sniper or anything. I think there's just so much pressure that nobody really dared go sniper, but you might see a scout run back to go sniper, or you might even just see a soldier jump in or something like that. It's pretty difficult to do something here without going sniper.
Yes. Well, this is currently Velocity's game right now. Like, they don't need to push aggressively. They have that advantage, so if they just, sucker down some of the time, keep things in an advantage, but never going around the backside. He tries to go in onto Honey, it gets picked up, so that's a sack. But yeah, he's probably going to swap into Sniper on that. So that was just, just seeing if he could create anything, not just going back. And that we'll see the Nevo Sniper coming out, and that's been a very effective sniper through the seasons, honestly.
Yeah, he's been having pretty good success with it, and he's already gotten like a weird snipe, so he's probably pretty warmed up here. So we'll see how it happens. It's a little bit different sniping from second into middle than it is the other way around. Like he's gonna make his way into lower here, and he's gonna get a really nice shot here first, but now he has been spotted, so now they're probably gonna do a better job of spamming him out and just in general keeping him at bay and not walking into the sight lines. Like Honey is definitely not going to walk into anything. That's just an absolute given. So, he kind of missed his first shot. That's been unfortunate. It's a very important one, but he's still able to go pretty close and far in. And if there's something like Buttnose goes in very aggressively, they can get taken down. But the Scruffy wants to go down.
Raf is in, or he tries to get onto Demos, ends up failing that. Sorry to cut you across there, my friend.
Yeah, that was a good cut in. He was just flying through the air like a
Buttnose going down to Nevo. That's 2 players down, both soldiers down. They haven't got that much spam, only really Spud to help, and Nevo goes down to Ixie though. The Ubers have been exchanged, and it's looking a little bit more confident Velocity right now in positioning wise. They may be able to catch people out. Spud denying their escape as much as he can, and the rest of our Elektro are looking to go in. Eskimo goes in. Scruff's actually gone down.
Soldier.
Ooh.
Wow, as soon as with the big flank just completely crushes it with a ton of damage coming out here, but it's not over yet. And actually, at the end of all this, Velocity is still at an advantage, at least in terms of high ground. So we do see Elektro, they back out, and time is running out. At least it must be in the back of their head. They have plenty of time, but at some point you just begin to feel it.
and Eskimo goes in really aggressively. Crayon end up going down, Ixie down as well. So they have lost their scouts, and Elektro want to take this one player advantage, and they want to take it through lower again. Spud trying to deny as much as possible. Wrap up on battlements, but Spud going down to a really aggressive play by Nevo. That was actually really well played by him, and he just picks his man. Wrap in the background gets picked up. Only Buttnose and Honey really left with Ixie and Crown just coming up now, and they're going to concede that mid. But
indeed they will. Yeah.
Ubers are equal, so it's not too detrimental for Velocity right now.
Yeah, Zunis tries to get in here. He will make it in, but Eames has already gone down, so I think Zunis is just going to have to settle for surviving here. And actually, he cannot even get that. An Uber has now been forced as well, so now it's just an Uber exchange. But actually, Buttnose might go down as well. No, he gets saved by his scout. So there's only 2 alive here on Elektro, and this is a really definite Velocity push. And it just feels like they're playing the time here, and getting away with it. It just feels a little bit rushed right now on the side of Elektro, and Velocity, they're just taking full advantage, and now they're in this position where they're holding middle again, and they can just technically do nothing. They can just let the time run out, right?
Yeah, they can let the time run out, but I don't think that's exactly what they're planning to do. Is Spud takes the team on the right hand side. Azuna's coming in with a high bump onto Honey. Honey surfs.
Sweet, and the perfect sticky comes in. He's lobbed in by Eames, and he even gets the 3rd one as well. Nice.
That's a collapse for poor Velocity. They lose one other player. Only Spud left. He's going to have to just try and, set up a trap and leave. Otherwise, he's going to go down. Eames very far forward on that demo as well, chasing out Spud. And they're going to concede that mid again, but this time with Uber Disad.
Yeah, this is a pretty hairy situation for Velocity. They want to find some way to slow down Elektro and make them use the Uber on second, so they can go back on last and have an Uber to defend last, and then they can hold that and maybe try and get a repush or something. Raf's going to be in the skybox, but he only really found a scout, and scout survives with 6 HP. That's typical scout stuff right there. Just very difficult to actually kill him. Ixie is also in spawn. I think there's a soldier watching for it, but Ixie, he's being very patient, and he cannot find the medic, and he will save himself with the respawn bind. They have a push in here. They've Ubered in, and they've done a lot of work. They've been putting time on to the point where only the demo man remaining, though. Eames pretty much going to die, and it's going to be a great hold here from Velocity, taking down all of the players, and now they're going to get out here onto second, and they're just continuously holding on. They don't want to give up that advantage. Of course, if we go to 2-2, they're going to have to play Golden Cap. Yeah, so they don't want to let it come to that at all, but they might just decide to push in here. There's a bit of a chance to take, but definitely the right move here. They're just waiting for everyone to get proper heals, and you are ready to go into middle here, I think.
Yeah, so, sorry I went quiet then. I tried to have a bit of chocolate and I didn't realise it was melted, so it just kind of filled my mouth and I wasn't able to deal anything. But Crayon takes that Uber in, and he's nearly got disconnected, picks up Eames and pushes so many players from Elektro just really far back, and Crayon isn't done yet. He picks up Nevo before trying to leave on that lower. Scruff's trying to take him down, but Crayon gets the support from his teammates, and that's only Scruff and Demos left. Azunas and Eskimo tried to make a play onto Honey, didn't manage to get it. And again, we're back at this this midpoint in advantage for Velocity, but they're going to take this all the way into second. They know they've got the player advantage, and Raf is already spamming people who are trying to come into lobby, and they're going to have to back out and get this last hold rolling.
Yeah, and I know I've been saying this for like the last 8 minutes or something, Dom, but at some point, Velocity, they can just do a whole bunch of nothing, and that's what they're going to do, or at least that's just the threat of it means that we're going to see Elektro jump out here. Demo's going to barely save his demo man, but now he's just caught in no man's land. And Ixie's on last, the back cap is going on, and he gets it, and that's almost certainly the map to Velocity Gaming. Wow. You are smart, Dom.
I'm not dumb!
Alright, I don't know.
I'm grumpy! You've been calling me dumb for the past 2 minutes!
Oh my god.
I'm not German!
It's because you said something smart, and I just figured it must be dumb,
No, I am dumb, but not the smart caster. But Raph goes over the point, tries to create something. Demos ends up going down to butt nose though, so they need to just protect Honey, and they're going to do a bit of a
he's actually cratered.
Ooh.
Oh no!
But I'm still mad at you, Peter. I thought we were friends.
now we'll trust the Dane. We're evil like that. Alright, anyway, crucially, Honey stayed alive. Like, they just played it super safe, made sure they had a medic here so they can do a big defense here on second and just milk the clock for everything it's got.
Yeah.
And just put a stop to them here. And, you know, it's going to be an Uber versus a non-Uber, and or they have to push. So this is going to be all or nothing for them.
Yeah, and the Uber comes out of Honey, crown straight onto Never. Never's surviving really nicely. He became the ultimate life form for a second there, but he ends up going down to another ultimate life form. But Eskimo, super low, but it's 1 minute 20. This is not what Elektro need right now, because they're going to have to lick their wounds and just try and get this Uber ad and just crush as many velocity players as possible. If they get like 3 or 4 players, they've got it back, at least a round back, but I'm going to call it. Velocity have won this map and surprised me in doing so.
Yeah, at this point it's just for the honor and the glory. Demos has an Uber advantage. It's about 50%. Oh, he's going to pop it. He got synced, but he survived with 8 HP. So not going to embarrass himself here just to boot. So they actually get second, and they have about 45 seconds to make it into last as well. So they have plenty of time to just set it up. They might want to go before Honey gets his own Uber. He's on 95%. So they're going to have to hurry a lot. It looks like, yeah, Honey's just going to pop it. And actually, if Elektro can just kite it, they should be fine. But
nope
is the answer. Nope. They could not.
Nope, not at all. But Eskimo just wants to go back in, get a glory kill, gets picked up by Ixie, and that is the first map going to Velocity, which surprised me and probably surprised you as well.
Yep, that's safe to say. Very, very much surprised me. I did not expect this at all.
Yep, just going to fizzle out now, so congratulations to Velocity, commiserations to Elektro for the first map. But shall we have a look at the logs? Because I'm quite intrigued to see what the logs are going to tell us.
Well, I can tell you what they tell me, and that is that Spud pounded. He did so much work. He had 353 damage per minute, almost 100 DPM higher than his opposing Demo Man, who also did a lot of damage. Eames. So just 22 for 12. It was a really, really good game for Spud. He was doing absolute monstrous amount of work. And then, of course, his scouts were doing a lot of cleanup as well. Ixie going 24 for 9. Crayon going 22 for 8. That's stellar.
That's not the scout combo that I would have said coming into this match that would have come out on top. Like I would have said that Scruff and Nevo would have been the guys that would have taken that, but they played really well, especially after that first mid. I feel like they got like a nice breath of confidence because they won that ulti trio really convincingly. And alongside that, what else do I see? Obligatory Eskimo with 9 air shots. Oh, gotta love those air shot stats. But
yeah,
it was very much Velocity's map.
Yeah, and probably the most telling stat is that Honey died 3 times and Demos died 7 times. And I really feel like it was just so many times where Honey survived and then they just retreated, played it really patiently, got healed up, then they went back in. Like that happened a bunch of times, both on middles, on last pushes, just picking off the medic, then coming back in with the full Uber. Just really, really strong stuff. And somehow that just worked out really well. And then both scouts doing really well. Like, it wasn't even that much more damage on the side of Velocity. They had about 4,000 more, I think. But they were a lot better at actually cleaning up kills. They have 91 kills to 65 with 4,000 more damage. So, like, the damage is pretty similar, but the kills are just overwhelmingly in favor of Velocity.
Yes. But, have we got some map stats?
The
here we go.
conversion rate, yeah. So we can see Velocity had a conversion rate of 75%. That means I think they had 4 pushes and they succeeded in 3 of them. One of them was a back cap. That's really good. And then they had really good last defenses as well, not to forget. They had like some really emphatic ones. And I can't remember who it actually was that failed to kill the sentry gun. If that was Eames or Spud. Okay.
And Eames and Spud, both of them. Like, Spud did one where he ended up just getting beamed, and Scruff got like 3 kills just with his sentry gun. But there was the other one that I said relatively, when it was a very good last hold from Velocity, and they didn't even get the level 1 sentry down, I don't think.
Yeah, like when you said relatively good push, and I just looked at the kill feed, and I just saw like 6 players alive on Velocity and 1 on on Elektro. I was like, yeah, that's not even cutting it.
Well, yeah, you said it though. I am dumb, just not dumb. Just you got to bear with me. Sometimes I have moments of brilliance, and sometimes I'll turn up and give you a sandwich with a banana in it. It's just you don't know what's going to happen with me sometimes.
Yeah, you did call it a lot better than I did. I stuck with my 5-0 prediction, and I was very, very, very wrong. And thank God for that. We got a much better game on our hands than whatever I predicted. So that's a really positive thing. And it's not even like Buttnose is making like a huge difference or anything. Like he had a pretty mediocre game. I think he went 12 for 14.
I think it's Spud. Spud is a bit of an anchor right now for Velocity.
Yeah, that's definitely something we can agree on. It's you only have to look at the stats to know it, but also just so many times where you got like a nice little sticky trap just to destroy a push before it even happened. Like that happened a bunch. So even those quote unquote low impact damage plays, right? Like they still had an actual big impact on the flow of the game. So yeah, just a really huge performance there coming out from Spud. Looks like they all want to be red. I don't blame them. Or Elektro will go blue. I bet Wiethoofd is happy about that, so he doesn't have to swap anything. Good times. Yeah. All right.
Well. So what do you think is going to happen on the second map? Now, I'm just going to quickly say something. This is an old school map. We've got an old school demo. Like, do you feel like that's gonna factor things more in favor of Velocity, or do you feel like Elektro may take this map?
Like, if you just go by what we saw on the first map, it just seems to be Velocity. They just seem to be a much more coherent team, and it's the way they protect their medic, and they're able to back out as a team and then play patiently. They were just doing that so well that it seems very difficult to see how they're going to actually lose it, you know?
Does if Elektro lose this, does this mean that they won't have a chance at playoffs, or will they still have a chance at playoffs following this?
That is a good question. I had the... Oh, can we open up the reports again, Wiethoofd? Because we actually have the tables there, so we can actually look at it. So, here they are. Right.
I don't think they can.
Yeah, well, so they have 10 points, and they even lost one because of they got a major warning. So they have 10 points, and they need to be in the top 4. They need 18 to move through.
I don't think they can make it. I think. How many maps have we got? How many weeks have we got left?
2, yeah. So if they can get 6 points, if they get 0 today, they can get 6 more points and they will get them up to 16. So that's not 18. So no, if they lose,
if they lose this, they're out of the running for playoffs.
Yeah, they need at least 2 points. So the worst, or like the worst case where they still have a chance, I suppose, is to win in Golden Cap. But really, they need to win this map in order to have a chance at getting into the playoffs, and then they also need Bin Black to not get a single point, or at least not 2 points. So, yeah, there's definitely some motivation here going on for Elektro. They need to really pucker up and get her done, because Otherwise, their season is basically over. And of course, velocity. You don't want to be the team that gives the bottom team the full points either. So yeah, but what do you think? Do you think that the Elektro will actually be able to overcome this, or do you think they're just gonna be completely like disheartened and just give up basically?
I don't know. I think again, I think it's going to be the reverse of what I said last time. So I feel like coming into the first map, I think Elektro were very confident that they had a good chance of, winning very comfortably on Snakewater. And I feel like it's kind of reverse. Velocity probably have quite a big high after winning that game. But like I can't if Elektro come out of the gates running and get that first round and just snap, just a quick stun slap across the face of Velocity, then maybe they can take the map. But I feel like if Velocity are going to play like they did on the previous map, it's going to be a very much an uphill battle for Elektro.
Yeah, indeed. Looks like Eskimo might be having some problems. So you might get poisoned in here, or maybe he was just taking a smoke or a pee break or something. So hopefully, that would just be another issue for them to deal with. We don't need that at this point. That's for sure.
I like Poison though. It'd be cool to have him in the game. But that's. Did I ever tell you that Poison was the guy that started my whole TF2 thing?
No. How did you start your whole TF2 thing?
Well, so I found out about TF2 Center, and I've been playing pubs primarily, and I watched quite a bit of Sixes, but I never got that interested to join until I found out about TF2 Center. And he was in my first TF2 Center, and he would just constantly kill me with the Market Gardener.
Oh.
He was just crushing me. But then he added me and just, got me to play a couple of games, and I was playing Medic, and he ran me through some positioning and stuff like that. And now I ended up here. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's like he's the guy. He led me to the he was my gateway drug into TF2.
Yeah. We'll see whether or not you come to regret that decision. No,
I don't regret it for a second, especially
it's
the
really
LAN
awesome.
events.
Yeah. It's really awesome how, I've also done, the Archimedes Cup and that kind of stuff, where you, you could captain or buddy or whatever it was called and get a bunch of players into competitive TF2. And then, some years later, I just had, people just message me and go, hey, I was on that team. And you got me into TF2, and it was really cool. I was just that's probably some of the most fulfilling things I've ever felt. Just getting someone into it.
Yeah.
A game like that is just awesome.
It's one thing loving TF2, but creating that spark to get someone else to have that love in their eye for TF2 as well is just amazing. It's probably one of the best feelings you can kind of feel in a video game is when you kind of show someone the way, so to speak.
Yeah, just in life in general. Just let it be a lesson that you should be really nice to noobs and people that don't know that much about whatever it is you're passionate about. If you share your passion and it makes it someone else's passion, you will love it.
And they'll love you for it.
Yeah.
You'll have a friend for life.
There are no winners and losers, only winners. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's not a really heartfelt moment. That's great. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Oh no, Raph. Oh, okay, he didn't drop from the server. I thought. I was like, all right, okay, they're just going to take turns getting completely disconnected from the server. Yeah.
Do you want to see if we've got a moment to whack out the old tactics, TF? Do you think we have time?
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, I haven't drawn on it at all. Let me see. What would be an interesting situation to look at? I guess maybe on last. Let's talk about. Shall we talk about the Velocity last hold where they just crushed everyone? They forced everyone into that lower area. Sure.
I can't remember it fully, but we'll give it a go. This will either go great or this will be an absolute just train wreck.
Complete horror show. All right. I'll turn it off. There's unfortunately no sentry symbol. There used to be, I'm pretty sure, but oh well. And then there was a demo in here.
Okay.
Do we have a view window?
Can I have a link to the view window? Can you send it to me, Peter?
Yeah, there we go.
Awesome.
All right. But man, this is difficult. I can't actually remember very much of it.
We'll do this together. Oh no! Okay, we can't do it. We no longer have time. Can we do it in 90 seconds?
No, we absolutely cannot. Okay. Look. Here's what I've drawn so far, and it's completely worthless because I can't remember what actually happened. All I know is that this demo man and the medic spent like a solid 10 seconds trying to destroy a sentry gun.
Live. You got to click the live thing on the thing so we can see it. We can't see it right now.
Have I not done it?
This is great. This is going so well.
I did tick the box, but oh well. Good thing it's not working. Let's move on here.
That never happened. Everyone just erase your mind. Quick, we'll do this really quick. Beer, score predictions, go.
Alright, I'm gonna go with Elektro wins 3-2. I think they'll bring it back, but I don't know why I think that.
I'm gonna say this is gonna be a really slow game and say 2-1 to Velocity. Just because I wanna be different from you.
Yeah, I want Elektro to win, just so that next week is gonna be super interesting, because it's gonna be about potentially who's gonna make it into the playoffs, you know. So that's my whole agenda. But yeah, we are live and we are on mid.
Yeah, and Spud's actually playing it on the lower side, under the point right now, trying to get some damage onto Demos. Demos takes a lot. Demos is super low, but Raph and Ixie, the first ones to fall. Honey just getting barreled on by loads of players from our Elektro, and they just lose this mid super quickly. Like I predicted earlier, I imagine that they're just going to come out of the gates, and that's exactly what our Elektro did. And they already looking to go into last. Like, Eskimo is on Honey right now. If he got one other rocket, that would have been the crucial pick. But Honey's now got his Uber. It's got a little bit of an advantage, but that's really not going to equate to anything. And they're going to get a last hold going right now, Peter.
Yeah, that was the window right there that Eskimo found. He found the window really well. Like, you need to get in there before all the spawners come in, and it's just impossible. So he actually got in there just in time. But unfortunately, he wasn't quite able to get the kill. So, yeah, we were now left on a stalemate. We have no off classes on Elektro. So, I wonder how they're going to try and play this. Because you can do double sorted bottom right. That looks like what they're doing. Send 2 sorted there. Try to see if they can catch out a sorted. They actually hit one nice rocket onto Raph. Raph's so weak, and Nebo actually went in top right as well. Nobody was looking at that. So that was a nice little set play, I have to say. That was really well executed. 2 sorters on right, and then a scout in top right. And now they just completely taken over right side. Sent as soon as onto the point. He's like in the tube right now. 2 soldiers on it. They have to pop onto it. A single medic alone, and there's still a soldier in the tube. And if nothing else, this just forced the Uber. And look at that. Demo still hasn't popped now.
And now they're going in, and this is not good for Velocity, and they're just going to get so much time at the point. And that is the first round of this map going to Elektro.
That was a beautiful play. Like, just the fact that, like that little hitch on it, where they had a scout going top right, and so it wasn't just the 2 soldiers spamming bottom right. That actually changed everything, and there was no one there to just block it off. Like, you want to have, like, your pocket or whatever block it, but they didn't do it. It's a really great executed play there, and 1-0.
Yeah, and Raph goes straight in onto Nevo. Really nice aggression from him. Good surfs from Honey, keeps himself alive. Azunas is still chasing, ends up going down. Nice mitigation of damage from Honey there, especially with that surf.
Oh, and Demos is not getting out. You can see the soldiers just toying with him. Alright, there we go. Yeah.
And that was a very convincing mid from Velocity. They did only lose Buttnose, but Raph with that early aggression just straight over the point picking up Nevo just created a huge problem for Elektro, and they just weren't able to deal with it. And now they've got this nice little, only 15% left to pick up of that charge. So they're going to go in beater, and if they can play this right, they're going to get around from it, I think. I hope. I want a tense game. I was expecting it to be a slow game, but that's exactly what it's not been so far. And Velocity have come in on the left-hand side. They're not managing to get the sentry gun down until their Uber is faded, so that's been denied. And Huddy's getting ready to back out if he needs to, but Crayon gets a little bit of time.
Oh, Stingers get baited by Crayon, so now he's on it. He's still on it. He takes down the soldier, can't get the second one, but now everyone else just comes in. Just the bait there from Crayon.
Pulled so many players to the point as well. Like 3 players dropped down trying to deny him. So really, really, really good. And yeah, we're on the third mid. Wow, this has been so fast so far. Only 4 and 10 seconds.
It was like Denmark versus Croatia, just 2 points in like 4 minutes. Really, really fast. But we see Azuna's on the train really fast, and we actually see Raph just barreling into the house, and somehow Demos doesn't die. And when you go all in on the medic and you don't get the medic, things are not going to end well. But actually, Buttnose gets Demos at the very tail end, saves the middle for his team. Wow.
But Demos goes down.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Big save.
That's a really good save, and that's really unfortunate for Demos.
Yeah, he survived like the massive bomb in from Raph, and then when he thought he was safe, Buttnose just goes like, nope, and takes him down. So it's going to be even Uber. I don't think there's a crit streak. There is a crit streak actually. Demos went crit streak, and this is just a textbook time to go crit streak really. Pushing it on to last, you spawn at the same time. Like they're probably not going to go crits themselves, so you have an advantage. And in worst case scenario, right, you just kind of crits in, pop the Uber, and then you go back out. But obviously they want to get the advantage going. It's already 80% on the crit streak. They actually need to move in pretty soon here if they want to actually use it, and they have indeed.
Yep, and they've tried to use. They're just about to get that crits, so they've got that available, and they're going to look to go in on this left-hand side. Eames gets the crits onto him. He doesn't manage to connect it. That's a crit screen. No, Raph onto him, but they got time on the point. Eskimo using that distraction really nicely to get time onto the point. Ends up getting denied by Crayon. And Velocity, nice confident hold, only losing their sentry.
NG though.
Wait, what?
Well, why is he on NG? I just realized. I was like, oh, he retreated from last. Whoa, this doesn't work. Oh, he just kills himself. He's like, oh my god. Spud just looks him in the eyes and just goes, no, I'm not strong enough. And he kills himself. That was a weird thing.
I can imagine. God, could you imagine that from Spud's perspective though? Just turning the corner, seeing an engineer that just pops dead in front of you. That would be extremely confusing, but Nevo coming back on an actual 6v6 class, not the engineer, and
they've actually pushed in so far, and there's actually 2 players denying the Spire cap. Wow, this is really well done. And look at that, the Demos Honey gets popped here, and they are looking for kills, but the Demos is really far back himself, so a very chaotic play right there. Eames gonna just fly in very aggressively. He will get saved by his medic as well, so gets another flash, gets 2 kills in as well, including the medic. But Buttnose does his thing and comes in, trying to get this guy in. Actually, that's Raph, and he takes down Scruff, one Frenchman onto another, and he's actually kind of forced him out. And now there's a back cap onto Spire by Crayon.
Yep, and that back cap has started, but it's got denied really quickly by Eames. And the rest of Elektro are looking maybe to go through Z into Valley. No, they're going to just, settle things out. It is 1-1, so it's anyone's game, so I think both teams are just looking for a decent advantage before they start pushing forward.
Yeah, Nevo was just destroying Raph, just completely juking him, taking him down. That means that he's going to completely be opening up this valley area, and everyone else from Velocity, they just have to move back. Oh, Spud takes down Demos, and even Wait, what? Who is
Azuna's.
Who's Velocity Aura 7? Oh, that's Eskimo. Okay. Goddamn.
The confusion. And Ixie manages to pick up Azunas right at the end, and even though there were some good plays, Spud kind of saved it for them, and now they've got this uber advantage onto last, and they want to take this in with Rap and Ixie. They're just waiting for it to go off. They do pop it off. They're trying to deny. Nevo's coming on that pyro, just trying to push people away and set everyone on fire. And they've started the cap really nicely, and they just keep people away from the point. And that's the second round going to Velocity. Oh,
that was incredibly well played by Honey. He barely saved his scout with a flash. Then the scout went on to the point. The demo man had to go down there to stop him. Then he got another flash. Demo goes down to the soldier, and then they cap it out. So just perfectly managed Uber there from Honey. Gonna make it 2-1 in favor of Velocity. So they make it back here with the comeback after losing the first round. So here we go, another mid.
And Eskimo jumps across the point trying to just spash onto Honey. Honey's super low. Azunas onto him. He ends up going down, and it's a bit of a crumble for poor Velocity. Only Spud left right now. Azunas jumping onto him. Spud just trying to stay alive, maybe trade with someone, but ends up going down. Someone tried to mine him. I think that was Eskimo. And that was a very, very reverse mid of the last one, really.
Yeah, pretty much the exact opposite of what happened there. And they just kind of slowly edged him out. The end result here is that both medics went down at about the same time, and it looks like Demo's going to go crit streak again. So in the same kind of situation, he goes for the crit streak, and the last time around, that did not work out at all.
No.
He's actually even arrowing people. I hate when people do this when they have an advantage. Like, don't arrow people. Just don't do it. You're wasting uber advantage. And like that's the really good part about the arrow change that they made. Like, they kind of nerfed arrows quite a bit, so you couldn't build as heavily with it. But people haven't quite gotten it yet.
Figured
or something.
it out.
Yeah, so they just keep arrowing people, even when like, oh, I gotta heal for 70. But no, you gotta build uber.
Now they have to make something happen, and they're going to take it in on Eskimo, and Eskimo manages to pick up Spud and the sentry gun, but Honey's just about to get his Uber, and they try to deny it, but nope. Yeah, really good. Just using that distraction at the right time, and this is not the match I was expecting. Jesus, they're just going left and right, to and fro, and it's quite an entertaining game for ourselves. Wouldn't you agree, Beta?
Yeah. Normally, the conversion rate on Badlands is just abysmal. It was just like a pyro and a sentry gun on last, and nobody can break it. But so far, these teams haven't really done that. So it's just 2-2, and Raph immediately that was Eskimo, just jumps in, takes down the Honey, and that's going to be an advantage to his team immediately, at least as far as heals go. But Spud is just outrageously weak as well as a single scout point.
Raph.
Oh, Ixie! Wow.
Raph, Demos got picked up by Botnose as well, so they managed to just do a nice little collapse and just punish that aggression coming out of our Elektro. That was really smart by them.
Yeah, that was really, really clutch as well by Ixie. Just incredibly well done by him to just get all the kills there at the very end. And Spot also got kind of lucky to survive on 6 HP. He just backed off. And we actually see Elektro, they're just going to push out here, just take a fight. This is very, very, very dangerous because the scout can just run behind, and Ixie has run behind, but no, he actually gets picked off by Azunas. Just takes him down with his shotgun.
Shotgun Rover? Wait, what?
Why not when you're on last? Yeah, that's it's a bit unusual, but I thought I was the only one in the entire universe that ever did that. But when you're holding last,
that was an old school thing back in the day, Shotgun Roma, when the old I was about to say man-treads, but they're not man-treads, are they?
No.
Gunboats. But anyway, Uber coming in on the right-hand side for Velocity. They don't manage to catch anyone, but they crane straight onto that point. They're baiting
Scout
towards
on the
it.
point again.
Yeah,
man,
really
in the old
good time.
days, that would have capped it, but not this time around. But I think they're about to do a V-push. It's actually 3 down on both teams. This is pretty good for the team that has to cap. Like, you can see Spot wants to do it, but he is alone. Butnose kind of abandoned him. He will actually win the duel in bottom right. pretty rare for a soldier duel to end that way. Normally they just both die, but Nemo was there to clean up, and he's on Spire as well. Eam's going to jump in to choke, lock that down, make sure nothing fancy happens with any kind of block, and then it's just a matter of a tiny advantage here for Aura Elektro, and they're actually going to have to push into Ixie sniping, so maybe they're not going to do anything.
Yeah, Ixie just has a really good aim, and he dives in the air. That was a really good snipe from him, and he's trying to see if he can get any other players. Nevo going down, just people getting crushed on Aura Elektro's side. Eskimo onto Ixie though, and Ixie manages to surf away, and the rest of Aura Elektro are just in a good position to push forwards. Scruff picking up Raph, but oh my god!
Well, that's a fancy crit streak you have there. It'd be a shame if I can crits too, wouldn't it?
Oh my gosh!
Jesus, that was
Ixie,
dirty.
you madman! Oh,
dirty. Just dirty.
I don't know. I feel like I have to have a shower after that. Oh.
Yeah, that was like the best way to deny a crit streak I've seen in a long time. Yeah, we have Eskimo. He's still behind. He's kind of surrounded by enemies, but he might be able to make it into resub. But it looks like he's not actually going for it. I think he thinks that's what they expect him to do, so he's going to go into choke instead. But yeah, I think they're just going to ignore him and go in there with the full Uber advantage. There's a Pyro in the center. This is the classic setup. Can it work? They haven't taken down the Sentry or the Pyro yet. This is why Badlands is so difficult to push. There we go. Finally they get the Pyro, but the Sentry gun is still up. And this is what people have been really struggling with. But Ixie did get another snipe in, so it's going to open up the right side at least. As soon as it goes down, Sentry gun has finally get taken down, so just the slow Reapers on right side is doing some work. And there's an Uber still, but it's getting forced now. There we go. It's still a scout on the point, scout on the point! Oh my god, that's so close.
Yeah, they managed to get the Uber onto that point at the last second, and it's clean-up crew right now. They just need to clean up any players they see on the red team. They managed to pick up another one before, I think that was Crayon, and everything's on the back foot again for Velocity. Ixie is no longer on Sniper. Spud's watching a trap on Shutter, but no one's going to take that route, and he's going to have to back up and rejoin his team. It's been such a to and fro match so far, Bido. It's actually been really entertaining.
Yeah, it's 2-2, and it's only 15 minutes that's passed. We actually have a Pyro going on from Nevo right now. He pushed out with the Pyro. I'm a little bit surprised that he wouldn't just go back to respawn and switch to Scout, but you know, maybe he's gonna just air blast everything in the house, and then they're gonna go out through the house without using, or something fancy like that. Like that could be a reason to stay on Pyro. Could also just be going to choke and just try to reflect everything and go through there without using. So there's some opportunities here, but I'm not going to say that I've completely figured out why they're doing this.
And but they're going to do it anyway. They use the Uber, they go straight in. Nevo's not part of the combo push though. He's in the background trying to help deal with Ixie, who's he's just chilling out really far behind right now. He's going on to second, maybe trying to get some sort of back cap going. Yeah, he started it, and other players from Velocity are denying it.
Gets capped though. That's really
that would have been good. That would have been good for them. I've just realised Eames is on the loose cannon, so we should see some double dunks as he does manage to get onto Crayon but not finish him off. Eames is super low. Raph is probably going to go for the chase here, but he gets double dunked away, and he manages to keep himself alive. And Nevo's actually on Sniper now, so we may see a decent Nevo snipe coming out of him, I hope.
Yeah, he's at forward spawn here, and he didn't see Raph coming, so Raph just gonna spam him out. Nice and tight. Actually, we see a crit streak on the defense here. That's new. That's kind of like a Lego move. They're bringing it back here though, or Elektro. And a lot of teams you'll see they'll just push in with Uber advantage, right? And then they hopefully fail, and then you just crits on them and just destroy them. That's the plan, but will that work out or not? I'm not so sure. Here comes the Uber.
Yeah, and the Uber comes in on the left side. Nevo actually already down to Raph. So Crayon just gets ready straight onto the point, tries to bait those sticks, manages to get them out really nicely, and the rest of Velocity just on that top left-hand side denying it, and they get the third round and back in advantage of the game. It's so interesting. Like, I don't know why Nevo didn't go Pyro there. That would have been the perfect time to just play Pyro.
Yeah, I think that was actually like a really, really big deal. I think it was a huge mistake to play sniper there. You need a pyro and a sentry gun to just slow down the push, make them waste as much time as possible, just push them back and then crits on them. But he went sniper and he paid for it.
Yeah, and Raph ends up going down first. He did try and sack over the point, but ends up going down to Eames Pipes. Azunas went for a sack onto Honey, but Honey ends up going down to Eskimo. Buttnose going down to Scruff, and the rest of our Elektro just barreling over that point once again, going into Valley, into C, trying to see if they can catch any players out or just get into a good position. But Velocity already set up for that last push. They know they're at uber disadvantage. And what are we seeing? Yeah, Ixie on the Pyro, we've got Crayon on the Engineer, so hopefully they'll be able to hold this. It's all down to the execution of our Elektro right now.
Yeah, they do have a level 3 sentry, so he had time to build that up. So it's going to be the classic really annoying pusher, but the Pyro wasn't quite in it. Yeah, so the sentry gun just goes down immediately, so not the perfect push or the perfect defense there. The Pyro is actually on the wrong side of the point. They have some players behind the point as well. A nice jump in from Azunas, takes down Raph. You did not see that one coming in.
Crane goes down as well.
Yeah, they're just cleaning up. The sentries, the stickies have been just blown on point, and there we go. It's going to be another equalizer round, 3-3.
Oh my god, this is so quick. This is so intense, but this is such a pleasure to watch as well.
Yeah, it's 20 minutes, 6 points. That's unheard of Pro Lands. And like, imagine if they would revert the cap time as well. This would have been like 8-8 or something. But anyway, it's going to be another middle, 3-3. Anyone's game. Take it away, Grumpy.
Yeah, and Eskimo jumps across point, creates a nice distraction for Azunas. Azunas tries to connect something, but Scruff goes down to Spud during that whole exchange, and Azunas jumps back onto point, tries to take down Buttnose, gets cleaned up, and it's looking very much like... Ooh! How did Honey get away with that?
How did Honey not die?
That was such an intense mid. That was so hard to cast.
Yeah, I don't get it. Spot's actually really far forward. He might get taken down. No, he will survive. Might have overextended there, especially with
that was scrappy as hell. That whole mid fight was just so scrappy, and Velocity end up coming up on top, and they're looking to create another point for themselves. There's just so much speed and aggression out of both teams right now. They really want to win this. I think Velocity, they've been searching for wins the whole season, and now they've got one. They've probably got a really nice, spring in their step. But we've got the Frenchman playing the Frenchman. We've got Raph on Spy, maybe seeing if he can get in.
Oh,
but right
perfect
now,
position, he gets one.
That's exactly who he needed. He got the med. That's Uber rad for Velocity, and they're looking to go in on this left-hand side with the Uber. They do pop it now. They're trying to get that sentry gun, but Nevo is on that Pyro. The sentry gun goes down. The Pyro's down as well. They just need to start baiting point. Crayon's been playing that point so well. Azunas gets launched into the roof. And Ixie and Crayon go down. Honey goes down. Not good for Velocity. They can't really stay in much longer. And Buttnose, round the backside, sees if he wants to just get onto Demos. Doesn't manage to get it though.
No. Man, I can't believe they messed that one up. It was just... They got the good initial kills, but then they weren't quite able to catch up with everyone and get the kills. Just really well kited by Aura Elektro, and it's gonna earn them a re-push here. Take Spire easily, and Raph even going down here might open things up here as they might look to push into middle. They have a small Uber advantage. It's 30%. It's very difficult to actually make it work, especially in Badlands, because you have to go through the choke. It's probably like one of the worst parts about Badlands, in my opinion, is this choke. When you push from second into middle, like you're going uphill through a small choke.
Yeah, and it's just like, that's just easy picking to the demo. The demo can just spam like crazy. It's just a bit worse than the process.
They're just gonna send in demo aggressively. Spot gets deleted from the server. See you later, Spot. But they didn't find the medic though.
Yeah, but Elektro are going to use this aggression. Azunas goes over the top and manages to force Honey, and now it's just a backpedaling game for Demos and the rest of his team, and they manage to slow people down with that choke. Really well played, but over the point, Raph tries to get something done, doesn't manage to meet all of the rockets he wanted to dish out, and we're going to go into a little bit of stalemate on this mid to second for velocity.
7 minutes remaining. It's probably about where teams begin to get tense. This is about the time that people start playing the clock before. But yeah, you can't really do that this time around for sure. Like you're still playing to win. But I think it's going to be like in the back of their minds at this point. So you know, we might see some more passive plays or some people making some weird mistakes because they're kind of getting stressed out. But here we go, another very aggressive Uber. They want to get Honey and they get Honey. Unbelievably well done. They're just so aggressively jumps and he was like 95%.
And the cleanup crew is here, Beta. And they've managed to pick up some players, but Eskimo ends up going down to Ixie. And Ixie on a super low health goes to resub, and advantage is now in the hands of our Elektra. Could we see them lead for the first time this map?
It's definitely looking like it. Like you're obviously jinxing it, and they have about 40% advantage, which again is not that much. So that means that if they lose a demo man or like any kind of significant pick, they might not be able to push. And we actually see a forward hold here. This is at least an attempt at it, but they haven't really done it quickly enough.
They got Eames.
Oh yeah, they got Raph as well, and they got to get the scout as well. Never mind, scout's gonna scout. There we go. Finally, he goes down. So the forward hold works out perfectly, like much better than they could have ever hoped. But we actually do see a combo kind of making their way behind everyone in lobby. But there's a back cab on Spire. But these two, like Demos and Eskimo, they're going to last. They have one mission, but nope, it's too late, and they're just gonna split up for some reason. Yeah, maybe like Eskimo can just distract for everyone, but no, Demos will get taken down. That was a bit weird play, I have to say.
Yeah, it was a little bit disappointing. I jinxed it. I'm sorry, or Elektra. I was trying to build a bit of tension, but I probably jinxed it for you guys. But Raph ends up going down. But Scruff.
Oh! He gets Botnos! Oh, he wins the 1v1. Clutch plays by Scruff. It's gonna make it 4-3.
I take everything back. I was right.
No, you counter jinxed it.
I counter jinxed it. Is there multiple levels of jinxing?
No, I think it's called double jinx, to be honest.
Double jinx. Okay.
Yeah.
Because jinxing's also when you say the same thing together, right? That's also a jinx. Yeah, anyway, this mid-fight's taken on, and Azunas gets picked up. Spud Honey goes down. Eames and Eskimo are down as well, though, so they're just going to try and get that med. They managed to pick up Demos, and Scruff will have the 1v1 with Buttnose. He won that earlier, and he wins it again now, and even so, Nevo was there to help him out.
I wonder if they're going to be able to take Spire as well. Interestingly enough, they're only sending one scout forward. Like if they had sent both scouts forward, I think they would have been able to get this. They have a sorter there as well. We do see a demo man coming in here to just kind of put some spam on it, and he's doing a pretty good job, to be honest. And the soldier actually gets it to cap out, so it almost wasn't enough. And this, Spot gets taken down, so that means that Spire is very difficult. Like, Demo Man is super important when it comes to fighting for Spire. And currently only Eames is alive as far as Demo Man go, but he's actually been pushed back, so it works out eventually. Yeah, Ubers are still pretty even. It's very difficult for Velocity to push at least, but they kind of have to at some point, right? There's 3 minutes remaining.
Yep, and they're looking to go into this left side, and they managed to pick up Crayon. They're trying to get on Honey. Honey is so low. That's ridiculous. They just need one little hit of damage onto Honey, but he manages to get the pack. And Scruff, looking like he wants to chase. He's going up onto that upside.
They're just running around on 9 HP. Somehow not
Scruff is setting up a back cap right now.
Oh, Buttnose destroyed Nero as well. Get killed by Ixie, but yeah, Buttnose with the big air shot. They're gonna make that count. You see Spot, he's fighting a soldier. They're just kind of jumping around each other. It's pretty funny. And, I'm not sure how this fight's going to end. See, Eames trying to put some pressure on. And there's even a Soda. He was just kind of the distraction, I guess. Eskimo just jumps in. And there we go. Eames actually does get the pipe kill. He was just spamming them in there, hoping to get something. And he does get something. And somehow, this mid get capped. The Spire was being capped as well, but they managed to get it in time. And they're just going to jump everyone onto the enemy Spire here. Or Elektro. They can't really keep up. But they might have too much time on middle. Looks like they're going to go for Spire, though. Oh my god, Spud! Doing so much work.
Yeah, really unfortunate that Honey went down as well, so there is an advantage for Demos and the rest of his team as Eskimo goes on to butt nose, and even though they're holding quite not in the best position in the world, they have got their crits coming up soon, so they do look like Eames wants to use that into choke. They just need to find out where Honey is, or at least a decent play.
Oh my god! What a
Eames.
crit!
That was worth it. That was
Demo. I think Spud jumped in behind. He's doing so much work. He actually gets Demos.
Oh my gosh! Wow, that was insane.
Demo Man is apparently still a good class. Despite all the nerfs, he's still monstrous. That crit streak, I didn't see it coming at all, and neither did Honey.
That was insane. That was so well played. And this is again all to play for Elektro. They need to keep advantage. Only a minute left on the point. The clock. Raph picking up a few players. Eames going down. Oh, just not good for Elektro there. Sorry about that. My phone just went off.
Like currently, like there's 50 seconds remaining. So Velocity, they need to just get their move on. They just need to go Speedy Gonzalez on this and just capture everything. Yeah, you can see they're definitely going to get Spire, but they're going to have one shot at this last point, and they will have an Uber to do it as well. So, like, this is as good as it gets, right?
Yeah, this is as tense as it gets. Can they get it to a golden cap? They're looking to set up Beta. They're looking to go through on this left-hand side. We have got Nevo on the Pyro and the Engineer up, so they've already ready to defend against this, and they try and they get the sentry gun down. And now Crayone's going straight onto that point, trying to bait it, but Eskimo
inside the point, but he drops down. This is actually going to happen. There's 5 seconds. There's so much time on the point. They get it.
Oh my god, that's 4 apiece. That's golden cap. Wow, that was just down to the wire. Woo.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, depending on like, they need the worst possible result that you can get here as Aura Elektro and still qualify for the playoffs is 2 points. That's the lowest possible where they have a chance to make it work. I haven't done like any of the fancy mathematics, but like if Bin Black gets 0 point, then technically it's still possible for Aura Elektro, but they need to win this golden cap, and they threw it away there at the very end by getting too aggressive and giving Velocity a perfect opportunity to come in there, and then they clutched the push. So 4-4 on Badlands. Can you believe it?
Wow, so both of our predictions, just throw them out the window. Like, both of those were completely wrong, and let's have a look at these logs quickly. Raph with 26 to 22. That doesn't surprise me, him having actually top frags during that game and top DPM. He did so much work that game. He was just in really good positions, and sometimes he was getting 2 and 3 Ks. So, yeah, it was just really well played by him during that game, to be honest, Vida.
Yeah, and interesting stat is that he got the fewest heals on his team. So, with the fewest heals, he got the most kills and the most damage. That's really impressive on a roamer. You got to give it to him. That's very, very good. So, big up to Raph there. And then also, you see both pockets. No, not both pockets. Eskimo, they did a lot of damage as well. And then we have the 2 demo men who also performed pretty well. Spot has kind of calmed down a bit. Seems went 16 for 18. Still does quite a lot of damage. Got a bunch of assists. So it's not like he's struggling or anything. He's just not getting like the same amount of kills, I think, as before. And he's not like dominating. And then Eames stepped up a whole bunch, and like especially that crit streak was really not.
But yeah, we should be getting into this golden cap. Again, this is all about the mid fight. I think whoever wins this mid fight we'll probably roll it all the way to last. But I don't think either of these teams are going to take the mid-fight passively. They don't seem like that's their style. So we're probably going to see a really intense Golden Cap mid-fight, I hope.
Yeah, they're just going to throw their bodies into each other, I think. They're not going to sit back and play it safe or anything. No, they're going to go all in. I wouldn't even be surprised to see like a spy or a pyro to mid or something weird like that. You know, like you see in the finals where people do weird stuff, right? Where it's like, who wouldn't do that? Like, who would do that, right? But, yeah. Sometimes I can be them.
Yeah, I just can't wait to get this going. So,
alright, my neighbor is like blasting music. I was like, "What's going on here?" I thought it was like Wiethoofd.
Well, yeah, what's he playing? Can you hear what he's actually playing?
Yeah, it's Smack My Bitch Up. Yeah, it is. It's a good song, but anyway, we are live here with the Golden Cap or Elektro. They need to win it in order to be able to make it into the playoffs. It's a long shot at this point, but they have a tiny sliver of a chance. But Velocity, they're not going to give it to them easy. And look at this guy flying into mid.
Oh my gosh! But Azunis and Eames ends up going down during the start of this. Eskimo goes down as well, so the slower...
Pyro to mid, yeah.
Yeah. We have a Pyro to mid. Who's the Pyro? Oh, Nevo.
He's just gonna meet a scout, and can he out DM him? Kinda. But he might not make it back to spawn though, and we actually see demos on Crits Creek as well, so they went full gimmicks here. Jumping a soldier into the medic super early.
Raph is in the end.
Demos on nearly wow.
Demos. Oh. That was really close there as well. And everyone... Well, this was a crazy Golden Cap start. Wow, and...
it's not over yet. We're about to see Crits Creek from Valley, I think. Or from Trash area. Look at it. I think they're about to pop it. There we go!
No, the Uber comes out of Honey, though, and even though Buttnose gets skyboxed, Spud's in a good position to push forward as well.
He gets free! They just run into it! Unbelievably. You just get them right before he dies as well. And Demos is still alive, and now it's going to be a push, but there's still 3 players alive, so they can backcap. You have to be very careful, and they never will find one, so that's Spud. He's heading to last. There is a soldier there, that's going to deny him pretty well. Spud's very weak.
Straight onto the point, though, trying to cap it out.
Oh, the scout!
Oh! That was so close. Nearly went for the back cap there. And yeah, but our Elektro going through on the midpoint, and Eskimo just pushing across that point. Spud in a really bad position. He's still alive though, from all the way from their second, I think. Well, all the way from their last. So he's still alive and breathing and been able to do something. But Demos will be back on that crits, and they may be able to get a bit more of a surprise on this because they just have quite a big advantage. And Raph spamming from respawns, but what do you think they're going to do, Peter?
Well, you can see that the Spud is being very aggressive, and he's just sticking off these doors, trying to make sure that they can't go in properly, but eventually he does have to retreat here. Like, the big problem with the Crits Creek is that once the enemy team knows it's there, but oh my god, Spud goes down. That's a huge deal. That means there's no stickies to deny this Crits Creek, and here comes the Crits Creek. I think they might be going... They have a soldier in here as well, but they actually get Buttnose with some rollers, but Demos has gone down, so the Crits Creek gone, but there's a scout on point.
So much time on the point. Azunis jumping on, he manages to separate, and that is
3K on Azunis. Wow.
That was really well played by Azunis, and that is the map. 2 points for Elektro on Prolands. That was intense.
Yeah, technically the dream is alive for Elektro. They can make it into playoff. I think they have to be unbelievably lucky, and it probably goes down to like score and individual matchups against Bin Black. So it's very unlikely, but you know they got themselves the chance at the very least. But man,
that was a pleasure. That was an absolute. We've been spoiled, Peter. The last two games we've got to watch have been great.
Yeah, they know we're casting, so they just do their best.
Oh, it was just that was so much fun. Oh,
or Or like pulled all the tricks out the bag too. They went pirate and mid. They went Kritzkrieg. They sent as soon as this like super fast speed jump into the enemy house where you got destroyed, and it didn't work out at all. And then the Kritzkrieg did work out barely. It was like an awful crits, and then they just all walked into like a dying sticky, and they just got 3 players, and then
that saved it. Like Ian saved it so well there. Like if that didn't happen, I think Velocity could have taken it all the way to last, because they were in such a bad position with Velocity barreling down on them. But I was super impressed with that.
Yes.
I've heard a whisper in my ear. Have we got some people organised for interviews?
all right, yeah, we will have Spot joining us. But just a fun little stat here that as soon as he got 5 kills, but he had less than 700 damage. That's efficiency right there. It's like on last he just hit like everyone with 1 rocket, I think, and killed them. So like to compare, Eames got 5 kills and he has like 1200 damage.
Efficiency is the best. But yeah.
Yeah,
sorry, I think the heat that the UK is currently dealing with has started to really, take its toll on me, and my brain is just fried. And after these games, it's just like, whew.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, also we should point out that was the first win for Velocity. They won 4-2 in terms of points, so the first win for them for that entire season. So we have Spud with us, and Spud, you guys won your first match of the season. Congratulations!
Thank you. Feels good.
Yeah. So, like, how did you feel about going into it? Because you were missing news, and you had to like kind of switch everything up. Were you nervous?
Not particularly. I mean, it meant I got to play Demo Man, and that's always fun. I think I had a pretty good impact on the game overall. The team was super focused, and it's like definitely the best we've played, because we haven't had a stable roster, and it just felt good to get a victory under our belts.
Yeah, but all in all, like, how did you feel with the swap out, and obviously having you on that demo, and then bringing Buttnose in on Pocket? Because especially during that Snakewater game, you guys seemed really organised and really kind of focused on what you needed to do.
Yeah, I feel like bringing Buttnose in. Buttnose is like a very stable player. Has a very good mentality going into it. He can hold the focus a little bit more, and we just had the team listen, I think, cohesively for the first time. Like I was micromanaging a little bit, which I'm not a particularly confident or good main caller, but I know, like, I kind of hit like this sort of zone tonight, and I kind of felt like I knew how to beat Aura. I gave it a shot. We focused Eames a lot, and it helped for sure.
Well, speaking of Eames has actually just joined us. How are you doing, Eames?
Hello. I'm better than I was after Snakewater, put it that way.
Much more satisfied. Like, one question I've just quickly got for yourself, like, coming into the match, did you expect anything that you kind of experienced during that Snakewater match, or did you feel like it would have been quite an easy win for you to begin with?
Well, I guess you kind of put your finger on what the problem is there. Like, when we expected to get 6 points, and I think we expected that a lot this season, and I know we just don't do very well in officials, it seems. So like we in fact beat 7 in our pre-scrim on Snake, and then came to this game like, yeah, it's gonna be easy, gonna be great, and then we like got annoyed when we lost rounds, and then sort of played really weird, and then just lost.
So do you feel like that kind of just got you guys into kind of a downward tilt spiral, so to speak, after conceding the rounds?
I think it's not even tilt, it's more that like we had literally a different, like a playstyle that completely differs, because somehow in official we decided to be more conservative, because obviously there is the pressure behind of like the point those kind of things, especially toward the end of the season where you get all the the playoff games and those kind of things, and that's also why at the end it kind of went for more Hail Mary plays, because we checked out basically the logs of the Bin Black, and congratulations to them for taking the map against the Bin. So they basically had the spot secured at that point, so there was no mathematic way for us to get through anyway. So just decided to have fun toward the end.
Okay.
Turns out it worked out a lot better because it was releasing pressure on trying to save face and win what we were, I guess, expecting to win.
Also, welcome, Never. I didn't even see you sneak in here, so
I got moved by with it.
Oh, okay, fair. But yeah, it was really interesting, and that's kind of a really good point. I've seen that quite a bit this season, where almost the pressure of officials have really affected a lot of the teams. A lot of teams have done really well in scrims, or pull out some really interesting plays. And do you almost feel just to quickly go on that, do you almost feel because it's an official, you don't want to take those risks anymore? You don't want to kind of get those interesting plays that work against teams. For example, winning a Snakewater game against Seven isn't an easy feat. So is it almost do you feel like that affects you guys a lot, or do you feel like it's just...
I honestly feel like it's the worst of both worlds. So this is the reason why we do so badly. So not only in some situations we fear a lot more than we should, and we're afraid of doing little pushes or pressuring or whatever because something terrible might happen. And then sometimes when we're losing on Snake, at one point you would have seen me just jump really deep in for basically no reason. That was a point we could have taken for free because we had one pick or something. But I at that point I was thinking, oh, we're losing by one round. We need to win every push decisively, this kind of thing. So I was sometimes we're going way too defensive and sometimes going way too aggressive. So yeah, it's dumb.
But for yourself, Spud, coming out of that, do you feel like that's kind of put a bit of a cherry on top for the season so far for yourselves? Just winning a game after kind of how the season has gone for you guys. I know you've only come in sort of halfway through the season, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
the latter half, yeah.
Yeah, the later half of the season. But is this kind of just a bit of a made you guys feel a little bit happier with how the season has gone, or are you kind of feeling a bit down over it all?
Overall, we can kind of take away, tiny little victories here and there. We've had so many roster issues throughout the season, and I think a lot of people don't expect a lot from us. I think we only played one official, or maybe two, in the first weeks when I actually wasn't even part of the team, where they were a full roster. And then the rest of the weeks we've just been having to deal with mercs here and there, and we haven't actually been a full roster. So going into LAN, we've got something else in the lines. I can't really say too much at the moment, but yeah, it's we're working hard to get everything in a good spot before LAN. So yeah.
Any
Happy
questions?
overall.
Oh, wicked. No, I think that's really important. Have you got any questions you want to ask, Peter?
Yeah, well, I just want to kind of summarize here that I think, depending on whether or not Bin Black got any points tonight, I don't know if they did.
They did.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, they did.
RIP playoffs then for you guys then.
Yeah, it's definitely RIP. We knew it before going into the Golden Cup, so...
yeah. Okay.
Is that why you came Pyro to mid?
That was, no experimental. That was
I didn't know
an homage to Olga.
I didn't know we were on Pyro to mid.
You didn't do anything.
Yeah, I didn't do anything. I think I got killed really early or something.
Well, you tried to.
Oh no! I tried to escape.
Lost
Actually,
as
Stan
soon
tried
as-
to trap me. Yeah.
As soon as it went in there, just got killed by one sticky or something in house, and then everyone else was just kind of oh, I guess mid's over.
But yeah, I don't know. It's exactly as Ims said. Basically, we were very careful for everything because we don't want anything to happen, and then at some point we realized we're down and something has to happen, well, everyone wants to be the hero that will save the team and basically like bring it back. But I mean, yeah, this is something we can work on, I guess. If we know the issue, it's easier to target and try to cope with.
If you judged our season by our scrim results, we would be up there, definitely in playoffs. But
Yeah, unfortunate.
officials just not doing too well.
Is there going to be a Elektro roster for iSeries?
Oh yeah, you've seen it tonight.
Oh, wicked!
So you can see us choking live.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't wait.
Shout out.
I can't wait.
You can bring us food and all that kind of stuff to just like fucking choke on at the LAN.
And Velocity is also over the red line now. I just want to point that out. They're actually in 6th place now. They have 1 more point than Ascent. They have 7 points. Ascent have 6 points. The Bus Crew has 5. So it's close at the bottom, but the Velocity is not at the very bottom. They're actually above the red line. So,
that means if things stay how they are for Velocity, you guys won't have to play any playoffs for next season. If I'm right, am I right? I don't know. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Nobody knows because
if you don't change the roster too much.
Yeah. But yeah, 90% of teams drop anyway after a season, so who knows what happens. But anyway. Oh yeah, well, there's Nation Cup soon. I'm hyped for that. That's always the most fun competition, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, is it really? But wasn't like the final not casted last season or something?
What? Was it not?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I think I remember seeing it. Maybe I casted it. Oh, maybe that's how it was. Like, I definitely remember the France versus Germany final for like the 3rd year in a row and France winning. Was France? Yeah, it's just the Eames. Is England actually gonna be a good team this year? Because you always have like the best players and then you suck and lose. It's kind of like in football.
Is it coming home?
It's coming home both in the World Cup and in TFT. I don't think I'm going to be in the team though, but it's definitely coming home. Unless I'm on Soldier, because Kalis will be demo, I think. But yeah, it's coming home.
I'm happy to hear that. Well, I haven't got anything else to ask.
I'll just add Denmark winner, obviously, but yeah, let's do some shoutouts.
Yeah, let me just have a look at the list. So let's start with you, Eames. Have you got any shoutouts for anyone?
Shout out to Seeds for being the best medic in Prem. That's it.
Spicy.
Never?
Yeah, I guess shout out to my team and shout out to all the team we played during the season and, of course, to Seeds.
Spud, have you got anyone you want to shout out?
Yeah, shout out to Velocity for sponsoring us. And shout out to the AIDS Brit Mumble. I hope they have a good time in Prague. And don't make sure HP doesn't do anything too retarded.
Oh god, HP is going.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah, good luck.
Who's gonna bail him out?
I don't think anyone will want to.
Peter, have you got any shout-outs?
No, just to you, GrumpyKoi, and Wiethoofd for doing production and casting with me. Always fun. And yeah, shout out to you guys for putting on a hell of a show, both for Elektro and Velocity. It was two really fun
so
maps.
much fun.
Yeah.
Shout out to Frotech fundraiser that's gonna be used to bail HP out of jail.
Yeah.
Don't dip into that.
And I've got just a shout out to everyone watching the stream. Thank you for people that came on from the TFTV1 stream. And yeah, just shout out to the team, shout out to my co-caster Beta and Wiethoofd, and we will see you next week for some more TF2 action. So thank you everyone. Bye.